Wisconsin Wine Guy, and we're back with a wine review. And this is going to be a very interesting one as well. So, for those who are new though, these are wines where you can pick up these wines wherever you shop for wine. Liquor store, grocery store, wine shop. I go through and pick out a few wines and give you my opinion, what I think about these wines, utilizing the infamous thumb rating system. Thumbs up says I recommend that wine. It's a pretty solid wine. Very good buy, very good value. 3/4 that someone introduced me to this wine. It's not quite a thumbs up, you know, but it definitely makes a very good everyday drinking wine. One that I would share with my friends. Halfway. Ooh, wow, something about that wine just wasn't right for my palate, but I'll tell you what it was and why it didn't work for me. Doesn't make it a bad wine, it just didn't work for me. What do I always say? Let your palate be the guide. Thumbs down, that's always an easy one. Get the wine out of here, just doesn't cut mustard. Forget about it, right? So now, we're going to be doing here Bogle. Now, everywhere you go, you will see Bogle wines, you know, and in my opinion, I think the Bogle lines of wines gets lost in the mix, you know, because, you know, we're talking about market share, we're talking about trying to sell wine. What's the name of the game? The name of the game is selling wine, right? So, Bogle probably sometimes get lost, you know, but Bogle has been consistently making very, very good wine, you know, since probably the inception, you know, 68, you know, probably the 6th generation operation of the winery and vineyard right now. But Bogle cut its teeth, you know, out of Clarksburg, outside of Sacramento, cut its teeth on Petite Sirah. You know, one of the few who primarily focus on Petite Sirah. Then add in some Zinfandel. It does get pretty warm out there in Sacramento, you know, so we're talking about, you know, bold, juicy, you know, type reds coming out of there. You know, so Petite Sirah, they cut their bones on. The Heritage Red is going to be a blend of primarily Petite Sirah with a little bit of Zinfandel. Two of the grapes that they grow. They grow quite a few different grapes, but two of the grapes, primary grapes, that they utilize to make their big and bold and lush type wines. So the 2020 Heritage Red is going to be coming in at 14.5% alcohol. Okay, aged in French oak. This is sustainably farmed. You know, I mean, so giving back, keeping the land, you know, balanced and even and healthy. You know, always gotta love that, right? All right, and certified green as well. This particular winery. All right, so Clarksburg. Now you can find this on sale. This is what I mean by it probably kind of gets lost, you know, because some people identify a good wine with price. You can find this on sale depending on your market from $6.99 to $9.99 on sale. Off sale, you'll find it at $10.99 to $13.99, depending on your market again. Okay? In my market, this was on sale for $6.99. All right. So now, get a look at that color. This is what I mean. We're talking about two grapes that's going to produce dense, dark colored wines. Zinfandel, Petite Sirah. Okay. So get a look at that color. It's exactly that. Okay. And we're talking deep hues of purple. Okay, so we have to be a little more, so it starts off being more garlic and goes into deeper garlic or more like purple or ruby, more like ruby, okay? Ruby color, like deep colored ruby, all right? Now, the nose here. Wow, that nose is phenomenal. We're talking spice. We're talking blueberry, blackberry. Ah, wow. Very nice nose here. Now, for the taste, two-step process. Doesn't change. It never changed for me. A young wine, old wine. It's never going to change for me. Two-step process. Acidity. If the wine isn't lively, I don't want it, right? I want my wines to be lively, especially because I like enjoying my wine with food in addition to drinking it on its own. Okay? So we're going to do that. In the second taste, we're going to begin to taste the wine, and I'll give you my opinion. So, first, let's taste it for acidity and tannins and balance. Here we go. Wow. So, good acidity. You definitely pick up on the finish some of the vanilla oak, parts of the American oak being aged in. A little spice to it, like pepper spice. tannins. Good structure of tannins. You know, it definitely has a grip and a fullness to it, but not crazy, not like this type tannins, but definitely has a nice grip. But very well balanced, I find this to be. On the taste, you also pick up the plum versus on the nose. You know, definitely berries. Berries abound, sometimes I like to say, but not like juicy berry fruit like some wines can be. Okay, but it is there. It has a ripeness to it. I mainly pick up on it as I'm beginning to swallow. I pick up on that ripe fruitiness, but in its initial taste, it comes in with a very nice balance to it, crying out for food, something rich, something robust, definitely crying out for that. I often say, hey, this would be a good wine with steak. I very, very rarely say that about wine because it's like the obvious, typical response or answer. But this one here, definitely would be a good steak wine with a nice demi-glace sauce to it. Would be work wonders for this wine. So there you have it, Wisconsin Wine Guy. I'm going to give it a rating. We get one more sip here. So, for the 2020 Heritage Red Blend of Petite Sirah, Zinfandel, coming together, giving you the juice, I'm going to give this a thumbs up. I like it. I enjoy it. And it's teetering that it could eventually go to a double thumbs up, you know, but they have a tier above this. I'm sure it'll probably be a double thumbs up, but I would definitely give this a thumbs up, without a doubt, without question. I've always enjoyed the Bogle lines of wines, the whites, the reds. Always enjoy them, and this is no exception for me. So there you have it, Wisconsin Wine Guy. Give it the 2020 Heritage Red from Bogle a thumbs up. They also have a Central Red, which I got to find that one and give that one a try too and rate it. But it's your Wisconsin Wine Guy saying to you, as always, let your palate be the guide with selecting your wine. Those tannins. I got to find a steak. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.